The silence that fell over the crowd was absolute. The rain beat down against the asphalt, the only sound accompanying the sudden, collective intake of breath. Nina's triumphant smirk faltered for a fraction of a second before she regained her composure. "What are you talking about?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly, perfectly portraying a victimized girl. "Mr. Woods, I understand you want to protect Cassie, but we all saw what happened. We all missed the exam because we were stuck in traffic." "Stuck in traffic?" My dad's voice was a low, dangerous rumble. He pulled me gently to his side, his arm a protective shield against the hostility radiating from the crowd. "You mean the traffic caused by the flooded road? The flooded road that you conveniently suggested a shortcut around?" Brock stepped forward, his fists still clenched. "Mr. Woods, don't try to shift the blame. Cassie was the one who—" "Quiet!" my dad bellowed, his authority silencing Brock instantly. He turned to the crowd, his eyes blazing. "I knew something was wrong when Cassie called me this morning. She told me about the delay, about waiting for Nina. I was worried they wouldn't make it, so I checked the traffic reports. The main road was indeed flooded, but there was a perfectly clear alternate route." He pointed a finger directly at Nina. "A route that your shortcut bypassed entirely. You led them directly into the worst of the congestion." Nina's eyes widened, a flicker of genuine panic crossing her face. "That's a lie. I didn't know. I thought the shortcut would be faster. Did you?" My dad pulled a tablet from his briefcase, tapping the screen before holding it up for everyone to see. "Then perhaps you can explain this." The screen displayed a video recording. It was grainy, but the figures were unmistakable. It was Nina, standing in a convenience store near the school, casually browsing the snack aisle. The timestamp clearly showed it was after the time she was supposed to be at the bus. "You weren't running late," my dad said, his voice ringing out clearly. "You were intentionally delaying your arrival. You bought lollipops and took your sweet time, knowing full well that your classmates would wait for you. Knowing full well that every minute wasted was a minute closer to missing the exam." The crowd stared at the video, the realization slowly dawning on them. The angry murmurs directed at me shifted, turning into confused and then accusatory whispers directed at Nina. "Nina, is this true?" Jason asked, his voice trembling with a mixture of betrayal and disbelief. "No, it's a fake," Nina cried out, tears streaming down her face. "He fabricated it to protect Cassie. You know how rich they are, they can easily fake a video." Brock, ever the loyal lapdog, jumped to her defense. "Yeah, Mr. Woods, we're not stupid. You think a blurry video is going to convince us?" My dad didn't flinch. He swiped to the next video. "How about this one, then?" This video was clearer. It showed Nina standing outside the school gates, talking to a man in a raincoat. She handed him an envelope, and he handed her a small device. "I had my security team look into this," my dad explained, his voice cold and steady. "That man is a known associate of a local gang. And that device? It's a signal jammer." He looked directly at Nina, whose face had completely drained of color. "You used the jammer to disrupt the GPS signals in the bus. You made sure the driver's navigation app couldn't detect the flooded road or suggest the clear alternate route. You guided them directly into the trap you set." The crowd erupted in shock and anger. The pieces were falling into place. Nina hadn't just been late, she had actively sabotaged them. "Why?" Brock demanded, his voice cracking. He looked at Nina, his eyes filled with a sudden, horrifying realization. "Why would you do that, Nina?" Nina backed away, her hands trembling. I didn't. It's all lies. They're trying to frame me." But the evidence was undeniable. The videos, the timeline, her own suspicious behavior, it all painted a clear picture of manipulation and sabotage. "You knew you wouldn't do well on the exam," I said, my voice finally steadying. I stepped forward, stepping out from the protective shadow of my dad. "You knew you couldn't get into a good university, so you decided to drag